and welcome to another video to teach you about the wonderful world of Latin. Today's video is going to focus on a verb you already know a little bit about, the verb sum esse, but we're just going to add in our future and imperfect tenses of this verb. So let's review a little bit. As you know, there's three different types of verbs. There's transitive verbs that could have a direct object, like video portam, I see the gate. There's intransitive verbs that don't usually have a direct object, like cogito de porta, I am thinking about the gate. De porta is not a direct object of cogito, but it tells us more about what we're thinking. Then there are linking verbs, like sum esse. These are verbs that connect your subject with a predicate nominative. So it's the other use of your nominative case on both sides of a linking verb, like porta est magna, the gate is large. Est is your linking verb, and it's telling us that our gate is large. That you already know about this linking verb sum esse in the present tense. You know it doesn't have an active or passive voice, and you know it's an irregular verb. By irregular verb, we mean that its forms don't follow our normal pattern, so you really do just need to memorize them. So you probably remember our chant sum as est, sumus estis sunt, to tell us our present forms in the indicative. In the infinitive, we have esse. So, just like all our other verbs, there's our present tense, video, I see or I watch, and there's our future tense, videbo, I will see, and our imperfect tense, our ongoing habitual action of I was seeing or I used to watch. Remember, that's a little bit different from our perfect tense, witty, I saw. So let's add in our imperfect and future tense forms of sum esse. To continue, let's review again. Write down our present tense forms of sum esse in the indicative and then press play again. Okay, you're right if you said sum as est, sumus estis sunt. Now, let's add in the imperfect tenses. These, again, are slightly irregular, but they're more consistent in a pattern than our present tense. They are, in the first person singular, eram, second person eras, third person erat, first plural eramus, second plural eratus, third plural erant. Notice there's only one R in all of these to distinguish them from ero, errare, to wander. So, how do we translate this? Remember, it's in the past tense. Eram, I was. Eras, you were. Erat, he, she, it was. Eramus, we were. Eratus, y'all were. Or erant, they were. Remember, sum esse can be to be or to exist. So erat can be there was, and erant can be there were. You'll notice that these are sort of similar to your tense markers for habeo habere, where we have ba to tell you it's imperfect, and our vowel in the imperfect forms of sum esse is an a. This is a nice helpful way to remember the past tense. Once you have these written down, as well as our translations, move on to the next part of our video that tells us about the future tense. Okay, so the future tense, or what will happen after the present. These forms for sum esse are ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritus, erunt. And you can translate these as I will be, you will be, he, she, or it will be, we will be, y'all will be, and they will be. And if you remember that sum esse is to be as well as to exist, this will help you to remember that erit can be there will be, and erunt will be also there will be. So if you notice our connections between different verbs and things that you already know, You have probably noticed that our tense markers for our first and second conjugation future forms of bo, bis, bit are very similar to arrow, iris, erit. Our bo is like arrow in the first singular, and the bu in the third plural is similar to erunt in the third person plural. All the other person and numbers have your I, just like bo, be, boo. So this is to help you to remember all of this. Once you have written down our translations, we will continue on to talk about how to translate these verbs in sentences. So let's look at our example donum est magnum, as well as donum erat magnum and donum erit magnum. This is a very similar sentence in all three tenses. You'll notice that est is our present tense of sum esse, erat is our third person singular imperfect, and erit is our future form of our linking verb sum esse. Since it is sum esse, on both of the sides of the linking verb, there is a neuter singular nominative word, donum or magnum. Since donum is on the left, the first side of our linking verb, it is our subject, and magnum comes after our linking verb, so it's our predicate nominative that tells us a little bit more about our subject, donum. As you've probably figured out by now, you can translate donum est magnum as the gift is large. To translate donum erat magnum, you're just going to change the tense of is to the gift was large. And then for donum erit magnum, we will just, again, change our tense to the future, so the gift will be large. When you translate these, we're really just changing our tense, and everything functions exactly as normal for how you translate it. You identify your subject. Since it's a linking verb from sum esse, you know that there will be a predicate nominative on the other side, and then you put them together as if there's just that giant equal sign. So now it's your turn to check your understanding. Answer these questions, and then call me over to check your work. Once you have it all complete, I will give you your next task. Thank you for listening to this video and learning more about Latin.